Welcome to the Wealth Transfer News, global economics and biblical principles. And let's start off by saying, Heavenly Father, we invite you. Holy Spirit, we invite you into this broadcast. We invite you to open the eyes and ears for us to see, for us to hear. We invite you, Father, to be the lamp unto our feet. We declare we trust in you with all of our heart, lean not on our understanding, but we're acknowledging you right now, Lord. Guide us, make our crooked path straight, keep us safe, prosper us, and let this be enlightening to you because we are on fire in the Holy Spirit and the truth is going to set all of us free. I'm Terry Saka, Chief Strategist. This is Dr. Charles Vance, the biblical scholar. How you doing?
Good, Terry. Great to have you along. I'm telling you, the last couple of weeks you have been fervent, but this is so important for us to understand the importance of understanding our source, because our source will ultimately determine where we have faith. See, you can be informed with all kinds of things, but information is not always necessarily truth. See, Jesus said, if you know the truth and continue in it, the truth will make you free. A lot of times people say the truth will make you free. No, not if you don't continue in it. See, what some people do is they're informed and their informer is the wrong source. You ever watched a TV program where somebody used an informer and the informer told them something that was not the truth, and it caused them to go on a wild goose chase, hunting around for something that wasn't even there? You've got to learn that faith comes by hearing and hearing and hearing. It's a biblical law. If you hear the Bible, you'll believe the Bible. But if you hear people that are just manipulating you or informing you with things that are not biblical truths, you're going to believe that. And if your source is wrong, after a while you're going to be believing the wrong thing, and it's extremely dangerous. You've probably had people lie to you and you've believed them before, haven't you? I ask that question in groups of people that I speak to on occasion, and nearly everybody in the room will raise their hand and say, yep, I had somebody lied to me and I believed them. What kind of mess did that get you in? Have you ever had a business partner that lied to you and you believed the lie? Have you ever had a marriage partner lie to you and you believe the lie?
Do you ever have a government, a politician lie to you?
Here we go.
Do you ever have a teacher, a professor lie to you? Because that is what's been going on. Do you know almost everything, and this isn't to depress you, do you know almost everything that you know is a lie? From the history, from the way the slavery went down, from the whole concept of America, from the founding fathers, everything you're being taught is a lie. Because progressive liberals have been trying to rewrite this history. They rewrite history all the time. They won't even tell you that it's radical Islamic terrorism that are killing tens of thousands of people around this world the last couple of years. They won't even tell you. They won't tell you anything that's true because they're trying to frame a narrative to bring us to a national socialist order. Well, I hate to say that we the people are a little smarter than that, and the data and the truth, what Charles has said is true. Now, the financial data, we have been showing here on Wealth Transfer News so many data points. It's the truth. And yet the financial news will tell you something different. And I'm here to tell you they're just there to do their job because otherwise they won't have a job. But our economy is really in trouble. The stock market's at an all-time high only because central banks have been buying stock. They've been printing money and buying stock in the markets. After England left, all the central banks started stimulating, so the stock market boomed, but it's booming on a false premise. At the same time, they're manipulating real constitutional money, which is silver, and gold, of course, on paper. But here's the good news. As much as they're manipulating it, silver's still up 50%. So as far as real data goes, they're trying to make you think, your advisors and those who think they know finances. Even if you're a Christian and you're an advisor, I'm sorry, you're in the fiat world. I understand we all have to have a job. But don't tell me that silver is not the best performing asset class you could have been in the last 10 years.
Terry,
matter of fact, your whole life for that matter.
I actually read an article on MSNBC money news, which normally doesn't have anything really very positive to say about gold and silver. It's always talking about the stock market. They actually had an article that said they believed that silver would probably top out at $600 an ounce.
Oh, and I don't doubt that, because silver is so manipulated. Let me show this to get it started. Silver is so manipulated, and it's doing it on derivative market paper trades.
Now you need to explain to
I'm
people
going to.
what
I'm going
that
to
is.
show it.
Explain
I'm not going to
yeah.
explain it. I'm going to show you. And the reason I care is because we, the people in the kingdom, we that have been given responsibility to manage what God has given us. You have worked so hard for your IRA and your 401k and the cash, paper, fake fiat money you have in the banking system. You've worked for that. And you're responsible to be a good steward and manager. And I'm just here to tell you, and I know people bring this, there's a big Christian out there, a brother out there, I'm not going to say it because I know what he's doing. He's real wealthy, but he's a checkbook finance advisor kind of guy. And he's real big on radio, and he tries to tell people, he doesn't talk well about gold and silver. He's just either ignorant or I don't know why. But he tried to say, oh yeah, since 2008, here's where I'm at and here's what's going on and here's what you can do. Do you know since 2008, that stock market crash, most people have just made it back and they've profited a bit. Well, if you were in silver since that crash, you're up 400%. And then it came down again and went back up. You could have sold the silver, bought back. So there is no comparison as to where we, the kingdom, should be. And why do I say that? It's not just because of silver. It's because constitutionally, Article 1, Section 8, Congress said Congress has a right to coin money. Money, look it up in Webster's dictionary, grains of silver, you see. Biblical money, Haggai 2:8, the gold is mine, the silver is mine. Silver is the money. So if we always were what God gave us dominion over, which is things of the earth, tangible, we would be wealthier today. That's why I like farmers, those that are actually in the earth product. So looking for information, look at this. This is a silver inventory chart over the last probably, 10 years or so. Look at this. This is a global annual silver net balance from 2004 till now revised. Look at that negative. This is total global cumulative net silver balance. That is not good.
So in other words, silver is being used up.
Yeah,
Is that correct?
Basically, let me I'll tell you this. Now that you see that, that is what every year we are using more silver than we consume. So basically what this means.
Then we're mining. Is that what you're saying?
Well, it's actually two factors. That is negative balance. That's how much negative every year we're going in silver balance. Okay. I'll explain what that means. You can bring it back to full and I'll talk to you. What this means is the negative silver, meaning as much as we're mining and recycling, we still are consuming more silver than we mine and recycle. That's that negative net balance there. We started out back in the 70s when we detached from the paper dollar as silver as our money, which it still is constitutionally, but now we're in this fiat fake scheme. If we stayed in silver, back then there was like 12 billion ounces above ground. Today there's roughly 700 million. I asked the refinery, I said, listen, if not that, I have someone who's going to throw a few billion in, but we never know. The kingdom's pretty wealthy. I'm kind of hoping we get it. But if let's say someone came and said, what can I buy? Can I get all, what can I get? Because remember, we're refiners. We actually refine and mint the finest 4.9 purity LBMA Comex hallmarked Judeo-Christian silver, constitutionally First Amendment protected silver in this country. I asked the refinery, what can I get if I wanted to? There's only 700 million ounces above ground declared. He said, maybe we can get 400 million ounces. That's how globally the supply is tight. So the market system is lying to you. The paper derivatives are the only reason the price is down. And what Charles said, I agree. There is no doubt someday that reckoning's coming because a lie can only be kept down. Now, what I used to say, it's like an elephant sitting on a spring. But remember, it's not about an investment. Silver's our constitutional and our biblical money. And so when I talk about IRAs and 401ks, the reason I say that, you could roll over your IRA seamlessly into a precious metals IRA and actually own the physical silver where no bank, no brokerage, no one is attached to. The title is in your name, you own it, and if you want to, you can take distributions in your own silver. And ironically, just this year alone, you would have been up already 50%. So it's just something where you can go and park part of your hard-earned wealth without the consequence. There's no tax event to it because it's still in an IRA. So get educated. Education is vital. Get resources and information, and there's a good place to get started right here.
Cornerstone Asset Metals is here to help you protect and preserve what you have worked hard to gain. For those of you who have IRAs to protect, 401ks to preserve, or cash in the bank, we would like to send you a package of information regarding the changes to the dollar and the challenges of our economy that you need to be prepared for. This package includes how easy it is to roll over your current IRA or 401k into a physical precious metals IRA for long-term protection of your hard-earned wealth. For those of you who have cash to invest, we can arrange to have your precious metals stored in a private vault or simply send it to your home. Call our toll-free number or register on our website now.
If you don't understand it and you still are feeling like you don't, because as Charles said, wherever you put your eyes, your hearing, you may go, what is this stuff about? Write the number down and the website down. Be prepared anyway. We're on fire, 100% on fire Christian company anyway. But the point is, be ready to make that decision once your heart and your spirit says so. We're going to go into, I want to show this because we're going to go into showing you what happened in a cover story that took place in The Economist back in the 80s. And this is what I think has been coming anyway. And I'm not the only one saying this, by the way. I think the occult, esoteric globalist put this out back then for a reason. And the plan is getting ready to come to fruition here probably anytime between now and the next few years. But the reason I say silver is manipulated by derivative, I'm going to show a little later in the actual charting. They have sold hundreds and hundreds of ounces on silver on paper in the futures market. And they don't have the physical silver in the vault to deliver it. It's a scheme. They call it short selling or naked short selling. And I personally, now the people say, well, why, how can they do that? Well, it's because they're actually protecting the fake fiat system, the banking system, of course. And remember, the government's not even in charge, the bankers are. And so we're not here to fight it. We're not here to beat the system. I'm here just for you in the kingdom to say, get in the right place. So when this happens, and we're seeing collapsing going around and people losing what they've worked hard for, we in the kingdom who are protected properly are going to have stuff. And people are going to say, how are you okay? Well, let me share the gospel and tell you why. You see, let me pay your bill. Let me buy you some food. Let me give you some food, mind you. That's what I like about that emergency storage food. That 25-year shelf life storage food, let me just tell you, it's not just for you if you don't want it. But there's nothing like giving a bag of 10 meals that all you do is add hot water to. I eat this stuff. We eat it at the office. I mean, why not? And there's nothing like giving that bag to a family. It'll have 10 meals. That is what the churches should be doing. They should be storing that food up. So shame on us in the kingdom. We think, obviously it's not, we need to be there, period, okay? And if we have the wealth, the transfer coming to us, we have the resources, you see. Not only to spread the gospel, but to feed. So I want to get into showing this because this is really good stuff, Charles. This is it's a cover story from The Economist. So let's just go right into this and show. Look at this. This is back in the 80s. I actually tried to find this. So if anyone out there can find the original copy of this magazine, I'm telling you right now, I'll pay handsomely. Contact us. wealthtransfernews.com. Go to questions at wealthtransfernews.com. Email me. I've been looking and I can't find it. If anyone can find a copy of this magazine and it's an original, I will pay for it because I will bless you because I want one so bad and I can't get it. But I remember having it or seeing it when I was younger. Let's put this up full so we can try to get it better. There it is. This was actually on the front of the cover of The Economist back in the 80s. It said, get ready for a world currency. Now, the bird actually represents a phoenix, and a phoenix is a rebirthing after death. The gold coin around the phoenix neck, you notice the date on that? Remember, this was back in, I think, like 1986 or so. But look at the coin, 2018. that this is going to happen. And if you notice, the Phoenix is standing on a pile of burning fiat currencies. This is not by accident. Mind you, The Economist is controlled by the ultimate, not just the Bilderberg, but the Illuminatis in them. I mean, all the names you can come up with.
The people that control the money system.
Yes, people control the money system, controls The Economist magazine. But they put this out back in the 80s. They knew they were going to burn up the fiat system, print unbelievable amounts of money until it runs out, and then they were going to crash it and come in with a global currency. And I don't have to try to convince you, because I have data that says exactly right. Now, there's a wonderful man, I won't get into too much on this, but a wonderful man named Jim Rickards, you could take that off, that Jim Rickards is a very intelligent intel guy in the inside, and his theory on this is astonishing, but there's a reason the Chinese are becoming part of the reserve currency system this September. Anytime between now and that 2018, 2020, something really big is coming. And how interesting they forecasted that back in the 80s. Because back then, remember, in the 70s, they started this whole fake dollar note system, which, remember, a note is a instrument of IOU. Someone owns you. They knew that they were going to print this money into the ether until it failed. And then once it did, they were going to institute the world currency. Now, I'm not so sure the world currency comes right now. But what I think is going to happen is this. Back in the S&L crisis, the banks bailed out the S&Ls. Then when the banks collapsed in 2008, well, then we've had governments bail out banks. But in 2008, the central banks bailed out the banks. Well, now the central banks are pretty much broke too, because they don't have anything. Next time around, the theory is the IMF, International Monetary Fund, is going to bail out the central banks. And they're going to use something called the SDR, Strategic Drawing Right, which is a global currency unit. And who are the reserve currencies that make up the SDR? United States dollar, the euro, the yen, the pound. So you see franc, you see those? There's a handful. And now the Chinese yuan. They needed the Chinese permission to do this, you see. And so my guess is they're now going to have this SDR become a global currency. Now, I don't think it overtakes the world, but I think that they're going to print trillions of this global SDR unit dollar currency to bail out the central banks to stimulate the next level.
But nothing steps in immediately.
Exactly.
So
yes.
it's going to be something, when they do this, it's going to be something that gradually moves into place.
Yes.
So that it doesn't alarm everyone.
That's exactly right.
And this is all, if you read the Bible, this is all end-time stuff, bringing things under a one-world government.
That's right.
The only way you can really control people is control the resources. If you control the resources, you've controlled people.
Yes, I agree. And what's interesting about this, Charles, is it is slow, but it has been. And it's coming right now in the form of the global economic collapse, for instance, isn't really just going to be a collapse. It's just going to be some banks went out. They're going to blame it on, I think they're blaming it on England, by the way. I think they're going to use England as the tool. They left, they caused this hiccup in Europe, and now Italy banks are going down, Deutsche Bank goes down, and this whole thing goes. And then they're pushing Russia towards war. So I see what they're doing. The economies will collapse, and they're going to realign things. But what a beautiful place to be in tangible asset like silver when this takes place, because you're going to be prepared for it. But there's more to this. And if you don't think what I'm saying is real, look at this data here. This is known as the federal government budget, known as the CBO. We better put this full. Right now, like in the center, for instance, you see where we're at now is about the center. You see where it goes up? They projected that. That's like in 2000 and then 2015. So you see where the only time it's above the line? That's in about 2000 when they supposedly had a surplus, but that's not true. And then after that, 2015 is to the right of that. What you're looking at right there, the projection of the CBO, is in the green line to the right. Our government is not only broke, but we're projected to go into such deep deficits from now until infinity, until something happens. That's why I know this game is over. I know this currency system is going down, because you can't tell me otherwise. So What we want to do is not only be prepared, you can take that off, but we want to be prepared not just financially, but we need, because they're going to have this social anarchy in the middle of it. It's just part of the way it's going. You can tell. They're bringing the Muslim influx into Europe. If you're not familiar with what's going on beyond all the bombings and killings of children in Europe on the behalf of Islamic jihadists, which should just infuriate the French people, but they can't do anything because their governments control them now and they don't have guns. Because if they had a gun in France, they could have shot the tires out and killed the guy, which if they did that in America, that'd be the first thing coming off my ankle and he never would have gotten 10 feet down the road, you see. So it's just the difference in our nations. But as far as what's going on, it's starting already. And so it's not a debate, but we need to be prepared, because if this social anarchy, what looks like is going on in Europe, they're almost at a civil war. And I think it's by design. The people are rising up in Germany and France and other areas, and they're almost at civil war. America, who are you kidding? When they shot those cops, this game is on. Don't tell me these are socialists, these are anarchists, these are communists. And I'm not just talking BLM, I'm talking all those organizations. They're doing this on purpose. This is George Soros, this is Barack Obama, this is Hillary Clinton at the highest level of who they really are. Just look at the people around them. If anything, call a spade a spade. You know, call it what it is. At least have the courage to call it out. But they're lying to you because they think you're stupid. That's what Gruber said about Obamacare. Americans are stupid. Are we? I don't think so. So let's get prepared. Let's have food. Let's have emergency heirloom seed, whatever it takes, so we have something to be there to help the people. I think the government's going to rely on that. I think they're going to try to use our love and compassion. So take a look at this. This will help you tremendously.
Cornerstone Asset Metals has focused on using gold and silver reserves to protect your assets from volatile currencies. Another hard asset that is just as important for your sustainability is food. We believe that preparation is a key to being successful in an unstable economic environment. So we launched Heaven's Harvest, heirloom seeds and emergency food just for you. The Bible tells us that Joseph used the resources of Egypt to prepare for a global famine by storing up food in a time of plenty. His preparation not only preserved the lives of his family, but many others as well. At Cornerstone, we believe the time is now to re-examine this biblical lesson so that you and your family can be prepared for any disaster, job loss, food shortage, or economic instability. You can start preparing today by visiting our website, cornerstoneassetmetals.com, or calling 1-888-747-3309. Call now, 1-888-747-3309.
Be sure to be proactive. Don't sit and wait until something happens and then you can't do anything about it. Pick up your telephone, make the phone call, or log on to wealthtransfernews.com. Make a difference in your future.
What I should show is the global economy scenario, because we're talking about this, but I want people to understand this is the real data. I showed you where the budget's going for America. There's a lot more backing that up, but look at this shipping. Now, remember, goods and services come from China, Europe, over to America. This is trade. When trade is moving, goods and services are moving, economies are doing well. Check out this as far as what's going on in the globe right now. Look at that map. Now, we need to probably blow this up for sure. This is a map of the region that goes all the way around from, this is now Singapore, the island of Singapore. But look at those red dots. You know what those red dots are, by the way? Those are shipping containers. Why are there so many in one place? They have nowhere to go. And I'm not kidding. They're not moving. They're stuck. They're staying there because there's nowhere to go. There's actually a period, first time, you can take that off, first time I ever saw where at one point, I think you brought it up, at one point in the Atlantic, there was now one shipping container from Europe to the United States.
So people really need to be aware the only way that this economic system that we live in can operate, in fact, the whole world's using it now,
yes,
is it's fake money. So I have to trade you something constantly. You have to take my stuff and I have to take your stuff, or else the system shuts down.
Yes, look at this next chart. Look at this one. This is going into the port. Look at all those sitting there. This is how clogged these shipping containers are. Look at them. There's nowhere to go. They're just hanging out. It's just astonishing. So take a look at this next one here. This is something here for Medicare, Social Security.
But Terry,
if you think we're good on that, watch this. Medicare, Social Security. Look at from the right in the middle there, cash deficit of 2017. Right there. Look at the deficit we're going into from now until infinity, 2040. We are broke as a nation. And I'm bringing that up because this is what's coming. Look at the age. Look at the aging group here coming in. Lifetime Social Security, tax benefits. Look over the next generations here, 2010 to 2030. Look how many older people are coming into the Social Security system.
So people need to be aware of the source of their information.
Absolutely, because look at what we're showing you.
Exactly.
Check out this. It is, because look at this next one.
People can be saying, well, there's nothing, I don't feel anything.
Well, you're going to. That's what I'm saying. What I'm showing you is...
That's my point.
The United States has hit a rubber band.
Yeah.
Look at right now, and they say the next business, this is called business cycles. After we've had massive recessions, they print money. This is the whole scheme since the late 70s. And we've been in these business cycle booms. Look at this piece here. Oh yeah, they'll have to show this full. This is incredible. The average business cycle over, now I'm talking go back to 1954, is that orange line was the average. And then in June of 09, that last Shemitah, we only had 83 months consecutively of the business cycle. Look at where we're at right now. 207 months. This is how much the business cycle has been moving. Now, what does that tell you? You can take that off. I'm going to tell you this. Here's what this says. We've been printing so much fake money that the system is on a fake trajectory. Corporations aren't making profits. Goods and services are not moving. There's a reason they're buying back stocks. The whole stock market is fake because the governments and the banks with printed money, fake money, are buying it. All I'm saying is be careful in the kingdom, churches and ministries where you have your hard-earned wealth. If we in the kingdom are going to be here to survive, we're going to need the wealth transfer. So let's get prepared, and God bless you until next week.
Hey, look, don't put it off. Make sure you do something today. You can go and watch these programs again at wealthtransfernews.com, and be sure to join us next week, same place and same time, for more of the Wealth Transfer News.
Are you concerned about the security of your financial future? Cornerstone Asset Metals is here to help you prepare for the extraordinary times ahead by protecting and preserving your assets through silver and gold. At Cornerstone, the protection and preservation of your investment is our first goal. So we are here to serve you with honesty, transparency, and respect. Take control of your future by registering on our website at cornerstoneassetmetals.com or call us toll-free at 888-747-3309. Call now, 888-747-3309. At Cornerstone, securing your future is our goal.